A new star is being born in Rocky Mountains. His name is Noah Davis, and we have him in an exclusive interview that you cannot miss.
2-on-1 out, 5-1 game. Freeman takes a strike, and one of those people that you will not find a person in the world.
Hello, baseball lovers. So we have a great interview with the starting pitcher of Colorado Rockies, Noah Davis. So, Mr. Davis, thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So, I want to start this interview with you are pitching tomorrow, okay? What is your process? You know, for your preparation. You know what I mean? Yeah. For tomorrow.
Yeah, so, we've been kind of building up for this outing throughout the week. Had a couple extra days in my turn in the rotation this time, so got a little extra rest. Today, we'll just go out there, play some light catch, feel a little bit of my pitches, just make sure everything's good to go for tomorrow.
So, for example, do you have something special today? You do something different, for example, go sleep early, or, I don't know, drink more water or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, hydration's a big part of it for me. I always try and drink as much water as I can, especially the closer we get up to our start. Tomorrow I'll be drinking water from the moment I get up, try and stay hydrated, but always trying to get as much sleep as possible. Not too much varies day to day for the day before the start, but today just kind of get some light movement around, light catch play, just make sure everything's feeling good, and hopefully I'm feeling as good as I can tomorrow.
Yeah. So for Mr. Noah, we have a lot altitude, in Coors Field. So some people say it's too hard to pitch. So what is your opinion? How do you feel?
Yeah, I think this will be my first time pitching up here at Coors Field, but I think I got some good preparation throwing out in Albuquerque. I actually heard that the altitude might even be higher in Albuquerque, so one of the harder ballparks to pitch in Albuquerque. So I think that's prepared me a little bit. I got to see how my stuff moves, see how my body reacts to the altitude. So feeling pretty confident. I feel like I've done it before, even though we haven't been here exactly, but I'm feeling pretty prepared.
Yeah. So your fans want to know about when did you start to play baseball?
Yeah, I've been playing baseball since I was about 3 years old. Started with t-ball, just like most kids playing little league t-ball, and just basically as long as I can remember. I can't really remember my life without baseball at this point.
Who was the best? Who was the first person when you start to play? Your family, your father, brothers?
Yeah, probably my dad. My parents signed me up for that first little league practice. They weren't. I mean, they've always been baseball fans, but they didn't play a lot of baseball growing up. So my dad signed me up, and I just fell in love with it ever since. He was my coach during little league a lot of the time when he had time. He's probably been the number one influence in me getting into this game.
And what position did you play at the beginning?
I always played infield. I never did a lot of pitching until I got to high school. I really loved playing shortstop. I was never a great hitter, so I usually liked playing defense a lot more than hitting. But I really liked trying to be as athletic as possible out in the field. So I was always a shortstop, and then as I got older, my high school team just needed pitching, and I had a pretty good arm, so I just kind of filled in that spot and been pitching ever since.
So when happened that moment when you started to pitch? Can you explain?
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about becoming a pitcher, honestly. My high school coach would probably tell you the same thing when he told me I was going to just go ahead and become a pitcher only. I wasn't a huge fan because I like to be a part of the game every inning, Didn't like sitting on the bench. But after maybe only took a few weeks of me being a pitcher to realize, I'm a lot better at this than I was at playing shortstop. So it was a bit of an adjustment, but, I fell in love with it, got really into the mental side of pitching and trying to attack hitters and stuff. So I just fell in love with it, and I'm grateful for that opportunity to keep me playing this game for as long as I can.
And do you miss to bat?
I don't miss hitting at all, especially, as you get older, guys start throwing harder. I think the fastest pitch I ever saw as a hitter was about 88 miles an hour, and I didn't stand any chance. So you see these guys throwing 95 plus out here, and I don't miss hitting at all. But I'm happy to be on the other side of the ball these days.
Yeah. So, Mr. Davis, how was the process when you start to learn about the different pitches?
Yeah, so I had a pretty good pitching coach in high school, at my high school. And, we started off just with the basics, fastball, changeup, eventually added a curveball. And I think probably around my freshman year of high school is when I started to get a decent idea of how to make the ball move, how I wanted to. But I mean, it's a process that continues to go on today. I've kind of added to that mix a little bit, added a few more pitches. But yeah, just kind of learning how my body moves and how I can manipulate the ball and see where it takes us.
Yeah, so please, can you show us your pitches in the cam, and you can explain why you use this pitch?
Yeah, so this right here is going to be my two-seam fastball. Some call it a sinker. I don't think it sinks a whole lot. It kind of just runs horizontally. But that's my primary pitch, that two-seam fastball. And then to pair with that this year, I added a cutter, which is right about here. But I'll manipulate that a little bit to get the shape that I want. And then we've got the slider right here. Started throwing this one last year on the two-seam. Kind of fallen in love with this grip a little bit, so I feel pretty comfortable with that. And then got the curveball here. Been throwing the same one since I was about 14. Freshman year in high school, started throwing that one. That's been my go-to for a long time. And then this changeup, this was something I added this year, kind of a split changeup, which changeup has always been kind of my worst pitch, but this year, slight grip adjustment kind of turned it into probably my second best pitch. Yeah, and that's the arsenal we're going with these days.
Oh, wow, it's a great repertory. Yeah, thank you so much for that information. So now we want to know a little bit about your personal life. For example, when you are not playing baseball, what are you doing?
Yeah, I have a long-term girlfriend that we just like to hang out. When we're not playing baseball, we like to get away from the field, kind of take some time to reset, focus on some other things outside of baseball, enjoy some of the things that this life has to offer. So we really like to get out into nature, go see some stuff, which is beautiful out here in Colorado. A lot of opportunities to go see mountains, lakes, tons of stuff like that. But we like to go on camping trips and stuff like that. And then when we're not out, kind of exploring, kind of just like to hang out and take it easy, watch Netflix at home, just kind of recover and get ready for the next outing.
Wow. You know what to do. Yeah. So, my friend, do you like to play, for example, video games?
Not so much anymore, but I grew up playing video games quite a bit. Spent a lot of hours in my childhood playing video games. It basically was just baseball and video games for me when I was growing up, but kind of turned it over to just watching movies and shows now these days.
So what is your favorite color and your favorite number?
I know it's going to sound corny, but I think my favorite color is purple. I've liked purple even before I came to the Rockies, so it was kind of a perfect mix. And then, sorry, what was the second question?
The number.
The number? My favorite number is probably 22. My birthday's on the 22nd. Always tried to get number 22 on every team that I've ever been on, but usually it's taken. It's a pretty popular number, so but I'd say that's my favorite.
Favorite food?
Favorite food, I gotta go steak. I'm a big fan of steak. Like a medium rare, like all different types of cuts, but yeah, I'm big on meat.
So do you like pizza?
I love pizza, yeah.
So if you have to prepare your pizza, what ingredient you add?
I would probably go pepperoni for sure, and then if you want to throw some sausage on there, some black olives, I'm always a big fan of that.
Great. So right now we're gonna back a little bit, because we're gonna know about how was the process in the college? When did you play college baseball, and how was the process in the draft?
Yeah, so during high school I started to kind of fill out physically, and after my sophomore season in high school, going into my junior year is when I got reached out to by the University of California, Santa Barbara, and they offered me a scholarship, and I went up there and toured the campus and just fell in love with the campus. It was beautiful, right on the beach, very similar to where I grew up in Huntington Beach. So it was familiar, and I've always loved the ocean, so fell in love with it right away, and then went there after I graduated high school. So I was in college from 2016 to 2018. And then, I got drafted my junior year out of UC Santa Barbara. That was kind of an interesting experience, getting to talk to scouts and have pre-draft meetings and stuff like that, and kind of get into the allure of professional baseball and kind of talk to some important people. So it was a process. Ended up getting picked in the 11th round by the Cincinnati Reds. And then, after a couple of years in their minor league system, made my way over here, and that's where we're at.
So, and do you remember that day when you signed your first contract?
Oh, yeah. I made sure to have someone take a picture of me while I was signing my contract. It was a pretty cool day, Been dreaming about that for a long time, to finally be able to say that baseball is my job. So, yeah, pretty cool experience.
What about your debut? How was these feelings?
It was really exciting, I was kind of struggling last year for most of the year in the minor leagues in AA, and I knew that I had an opportunity to make it to the big leagues if I just pitched well. Probably put a little too much pressure on myself, but towards the end of the year started to relax a little bit. Ended up making my debut out in Los Angeles, about 45 minutes from home. So it was cool to be able to have my family and stuff out there and to be able to pitch at Dodger Stadium, which is a stadium that I've grown up going to. I was mostly an Angels fan, so I didn't go to a ton of Dodger games, but definitely familiar with the stadium and the area, so it was pretty cool to be able to do that at home.
Yeah, so, you had a dream, for being, for playing in MLB. Right now you got the dream. So now, what is your dream?
I think my dream is, I always wanted to play in Major League Baseball, but I think my dream has always been to win a World Series. So I think that now that we're here, the goal stays the same. To try and win a World Series, try and be on competitive teams, making runs in the playoffs, just go out there and try and win.
My friend, thank you for your time. So I only have one more question. So what is your comment about that teenagers, kid, that they dream for being big leaguers like you? What is your advice for them?
Yeah, I think the advice would just be to keep going. There's a lot of ups and downs in this game. A lot of times you're going to doubt yourself and think that you can't do it, myself included. Even last year, a year ago from right now, I was thinking maybe I might not be able to do this. So I think the most important thing is to just keep going, keep putting in the work, and try and keep a positive attitude and just see where it takes you. We only have so many years where our bodies are capable of making this happen. So if you're in that age range, you just got to keep going and give yourself a chance.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure for us having you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Soy el periodista Abel Flores, acreditado para cubrir el béisbol de Grandes Ligas desde Colorado para el mundo, y te invito a seguirme en mi cuenta Amantes del Béisbol 2021, donde encontrarás contenido exclusivo, entrevistas, informes, reportajes, comentarios exclusivos de nuestros peloteros Grandes Ligas de Venezuela, República Dominicana, México, Puerto Rico, Panamá. Un contenido exclusivo que no encontrarás en ninguna otra plataforma, ni en televisión, ni en radio, ni en prensa. No esperes el noticiero de la noche, no tienes que leer la noticia del día de ayer. En esta plataforma multimedia te brindamos toda la información. Amantes del Béisbol 2021.
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.